We've all heard about these predatory 40-year listing agreements and unscrupulous wholesalers who steal equity from little old ladies. Well, things are about to change for them. Hi, I'm Daphne Bousquet with the Communications Committee, and I have with me here Representative Clint Crowe, who has done something about that. Can you tell us about the legislation that you just passed?
I can, and thank you for having me here. It's always wonderful to be over in the Fayette area. Of course, like I said, I've been a member of this board for a number of years, but I don't get over here as often as I would like to, so it's great to be with y'all. Yeah, and the first thing I would like to say really is that that bill, which was House Bill 471, started out as House Bill 471, as things often do through the legislative process. Not everything makes it across the finish line. Sometimes by crossover day, we have other tricks and ways to get things done. And so we were able to substitute that bill into Senate Bill 90, which another friend of mine, Senator Clint Dixon, who's also a Realtor member, had. And so we subbed 471 into Senate Bill 90 and was able to get that language passed. And really, it was a collaborative effort, and a lot of the credit, the bulk of the credit, I think, goes to our Georgia Realtor Governmental Affairs team, primarily Jeff Ledford, who had really worked on this issue a lot, along with the real estate section of the Bar Association of Georgia and the Atlanta Legal Defense Fund that had all worked together, identified this as a problem and something that needed to be dealt with, and they crafted this bill. And then, when it came to me, I was able to thankfully get it through the process and, stop these folks from doing the things that they've been doing.
So how exactly is it going to change for them? What exactly can they not do anymore?
So as it pertains to the 40-year listing agreements, which is what has really gotten the most notoriety in this legislation, it doesn't stop them from being able to have these agreements signed, right? I'm a realtor broker, just like you are, and many of our members are, and it's I'm a big believer in contract law. I don't want to do anything to hinder that. And so if these folks feel they've been aggrieved and they get this contract signed, they're more than welcome to go to court and present their case to a judge. I would, for one, not be willing to walk into a court and try to convince a judge why this little old lady owed me all this money once I coerced her into signing a 40-year listing agreement. But they have that opportunity. What they can't do is they can't record that as a cloud on the title. They can't record that listing agreement and have it have the effect of liening the property and stopping the sale. And I really think we all feel that that's going to stop this practice, because that was their mechanism for getting paid, right? They're certainly not going to wait
40
years to then get to list a property and do that. That wasn't their business plan. I think this afforded them the opportunity to get paid without having to actually do the listing. And without that, I don't think they're not going to want to take these into court. If you think about these, we estimated with 3,000 of them across the state at the time, maybe more than that now. They're not going to want to go into that many courts and try to present these cases. And honestly, I don't know that they would be really successful in doing that. So I think it's a good way to stop the practice, and hopefully prevent some of these folks from being taken advantage of, because this affected a lot of people everywhere. I've even had agents of mine that I've known that have called me. I had one in particular that called me while this bill was going through and said, "Hey, have you ever heard of this company?" And I said, as a matter of fact, I had to say, "We're trying to close on this house." And the person had inherited it. A family member had passed. They were trying to settle the estate, and all of a sudden, right before closing, this issue popped up, and they said they owed them $6,000. They wouldn't release this until they paid them the $6,000. A lot of times, these folks don't have that. Any money that they're going to have is possibly going to come from the liquidation of this asset, and it all belongs to the estate. And that's it's really an unscrupulous practice, I feel, and something that I wouldn't engage in it. I wouldn't want our agents engaging in it, and I don't think anybody else needs to be engaging in that practice in the state of Georgia either.
Absolutely. Now let's talk a little bit about unlicensed wholesalers, because there is something in that bill that they won't be able to do as well, or things will change for them as well.
They will change, and really what's going to change is the mechanism and how they obtain properties or solicit properties. And I'm sure that you've worked with, just like I have, and maybe have been yourself, as I have been, a real estate investor, invested in real estate properties. And I think it's wonderful. I think it's a great practice. It's good for our business. It's good for our communities, for folks to take a house that maybe needs some work and buy it and fix it up and put it back on the market. And so we want to encourage that. What we don't want to encourage is folks that are coming in and doing that and not being upfront with the sellers. A lot of these folks are coming in and offering, saying, I want to buy your property. And all they're trying to do is get the property under contract so they can then go out there and market that contract or that option if they have an purchase option on it and resell their contract. So essentially what they're trying to do is they're trying to market a property and sell a property without being licensed, which we have to be licensed. And that's to protect the client, right? To protect the seller. These folks' interest is not in the seller. And the other thing that they do that is not allowed for us to do is it essentially becomes a net listing. Right. They can sell it for a certain amount. They get to keep the difference between whatever they've got it under contract for and whatever they can sell it for. Again, as long as everybody understands and agrees and knows what's going on, that's fine. That's free market. That's a business practice that they can pursue. But we wanted to make sure that they are letting folks know that this is a solicitation. What they want to do is they want to buy this house and then go out and try to resell it for a profit. And so what they have to do is they have to be very clear on any mail solicitations, notifying the person that it is a solicitation. And from a phone call standpoint, it really keeps them from being able to cold call and do phone solicitations for wholesalers. And again, it's to protect the sellers, because so many of these folks, so many times, have gotten into a position where they thought they had sold their house. They were making preparations to move, making arrangements to move somewhere else, maybe getting rid of stuff, only to find out at the end when that person couldn't sell that they really had not sold their house. This person never had an intention of closing on their house. They just wanted to try to flip the contract, right? And so if the seller is not aware of that, it really puts them in a bad situation and can end up costing them money.
So when does this bill go into effect? When does everything?
It goes into effect. So this legislation is slated to go into effect, I believe, January 1st of 2024.
Well, thank you so much for protecting our clients, private property owners, and all the work that you do at the house, the Georgia State House. And thank you so much for talking to us and letting all our realtors know what is happening.
Well, I appreciate it. And I appreciate the opportunity to come talk to y'all about it. It's, I've said for years, one of the best things about our organization, and I can tell you from the standpoint of being at the Capitol now, when the realtors come to Atlanta, all my colleagues know. They all talk about it. They say, hey, all your people are in town. I said, yeah, I know. And it carries weight. The realtor organization, because realtors are by nature so involved in the community. They're so involved in different civic organizations throughout the community. They know a lot of people. They are able to affect a lot of things. And so I think that when we get involved in something like this and can get behind this, I think, together it really can make a difference. And so I appreciate y'all and your board and how active you are and all the things. And I really appreciate the opportunity to come over and talk to y'all about this piece of legislation, and look forward to doing it more in the future.
Great. Thank you so much.
Yep. Thank you.